Hey Inglewood, my name is Sydney Burns with the Inglewood Times, and today we're here having another Inglewood Profiles. Today we have the pleasure of sitting down with Brenda Thames, the superintendent of El Camino College. And our first question for you today is, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what made you become interested in this position?
Hey Inglewood, I am Brenda Thames. I have the pleasure of serving as the president superintendent here at El Camino College. A little about myself, I am the mother of two. I am the wife of, 30 plus years to my husband. I am a sister, I am a daughter, I am a friend, and I am a very proud warrior of El Camino College. I grew up in California in the Central Valley, have lived in a variety of places. I've lived in the Bay Area where I had the pleasure of attending Laney College and UC Berkeley. I have lived here in Southern California. I had the privilege of attending USC. I have attended Oregon State University, and we have lived on top of the Grapevine. We've lived up north on the coast, and now we are here in beautiful Southern California. This is my second presidency. I was the president of West Hills College before coming to El Camino. I have been working in community colleges for about 25, 26 years. I love this. This is the best job in the world. Started my career as a social worker and was working with corrections when I had my first child, and felt like it might be time for a career change. And I found the TRIO program at a community college and fell in love with that work because it allowed me to combine my love of social work and helping people with my love of education. And I have been working in community colleges ever since. My favorite things to do lately are to sleep, because this is a full-time job. I'm loving every minute of it, but it's also, a 70-hour week sometimes. I like to read. I like to hang out with my sisters, which I miss dearly. We're loving getting to know Southern California. So that's a little bit about me.
Okay, you mentioned that you often or on occasion can work up to 70-hour weeks, and it's a lot of work. So can you elaborate on your role and responsibilities as president?
As the president of El Camino College, I am the CEO, which means I am accountable for everything, in charge of nothing. I work for 30,000 students and maybe 1,500 faculty, staff, and administrators. My job is to make sure that they're successful so that they can make sure that students are successful. Our number one goal here is students come to us. We do everything that we can to help them achieve their goal, whether that be a degree, a certificate, acquiring a new skill to increase their salary earnings, exploring something new. Whatever it is that brings someone here, our job is to make sure that they get that. So our goal is student success, and we live it, we breathe it, we love it, and we love our students.
And how do you evaluate whether or not you are upholding these responsibilities and performing as effectively as you can?
In a couple of ways. First, by the numbers. How many students are graduating? How many students are passing their course success rates every semester? But then there's also some qualitative things that we look at. We look at student satisfaction climate surveys, faculty staff climate surveys and satisfaction. Do they like working here? Are our faculty and staff engaged in working here? Interested in doing some community surveys. As we go into planning our next phase of educational master planning, we hope to do some community surveys and get impressions of what our service area thinks of us and what you all want from us that we're not delivering. So it's a variety of things that we use. I do a 360 once every 2-3 years where I send out an evaluation to everybody on campus and allow people to give me feedback, because oftentimes what I think I'm projecting may not be what people are receiving or seeing. So I like to get a diversity of information and a broad spectrum of data and information to help me do the best that I can.
What do you consider as the greatest accomplishment of your career so far?
The greatest accomplishment of my career, I think the people I have mentored that have gone on to achieve different levels in community college or start a business or do whatever they deemed made them successful, just have invested in somebody else's life and then to experience that success with them. I think the ability to pour into somebody else and see that blossom into things that maybe we didn't even imagine, that would be the greatest success. It's not a one thing, it's a Yeah, a spectrum or a process. And maybe the greatest achievement is me being able to recognize it's not all about me. It's more about other people. And being blessed and privileged to have the ability to pour into other people and recognize that as a blessing and a privilege, and be committed to doing that on a regular basis. That's my greatest achievement.
And on the topic, sort of bouncing off of that privilege that we have, being that we are celebrating Women's History Month, what are your primary goals regarding equity and inclusion at El Camino College?
My goals are the same goals this campus has. We are committed to closing any equity gaps that we have in terms of student success and achievement, but we also have the goal of making sure that everyone feels welcomed and included here. So my goal is that El Camino can be a place where you come and you feel like people are invested in you. You feel like you can succeed. You feel like you can pursue a dream. And you feel like you have space to be who you are, or space to grow into who you want to be. And El Camino, we are starting to add that A to diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, because we recognize that we also all come with different, we're differently abled, and we want to make sure that our whole community feels welcomed here. So we're also going to start emphasizing that accessibility as a piece of our equity, diversity, and inclusion efforts.
When it comes to accessibility, what services do you offer for students who are looking to address any inequity issues?
One of the amazing things about El Camino is I think the holistic spectrum of services that we have allow us to do wraparound services and engage the whole student. El Camino realizes when you come to class, when you get out of the car in the parking lot, you are not leaving your worries about your rent. You're not leaving your worries about your children that you have, or what you're going to eat for dinner, or physical health, mental health. You don't leave that stuff in the car so you can go to class. It all comes with you. And our goal here is to make sure that we engage you and embrace you holistically. So we have a health center. We provide mental health services. We have a food pantry. We have a clothes pantry. We have disability services. We have a program called Equal Opportunity Programs and Services for students who come from social and economically disadvantaged or minoritized communities. We have a Black Student Success Center. We have a Social Justice Center. We have tutoring. We have an athletic study center. I mean, I could go on and on. We have just about everything that you need to be successful. And if we don't have it, come up to my office. We'll talk about what it is that you need, and we'll figure out how to create it.
So, if I'm not mistaken, you are the first Black female superintendent to be teaching, administrating here at El Camino College. So my final question to you is, what advice do you have for people that look like you, or just people in general who are looking to obtain a position, one similar to one that you have?
So I'll start with the young women that look like me. Don't limit whatever you think that you can be. I didn't start out thinking about being a community college president. This job found me by pursuing what I loved and I love doing. So my first thing that I would advise you is to find something that you love doing and do it to the best of your ability. The other thing that I would tell young women that look like me is to find mentors, both mentors that look like us, but also, ladies, mentors that don't, because there's a lot that experienced, wise, seasoned professionals that don't look like us can teach us politically savvy things that we need to know, some business things that we need to know that we might not get from other types of mentors. So make sure you have a diverse spectrum of mentors. And you need an education. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a PhD, but you got to finish high school, and you're going to have to at least get an AA, an associate degree in arts, or an associate degree in science. And then you can chart your path to anything that you want to do. And it's never too late. Experience life a little bit, go back to school. And then if you need to experience life a little bit more, try some careers out, go back to school. You need to chart your own path. And folks in general, I would just say, oftentimes we get too worried about what people think of us, or whether we're good enough, or we're smart enough, or we're cute enough. You are perfect just the way that you are. And what you bring to the table, perfect that and bring it 115%, and you can be successful. So don't let what the world thinks of you or tells you should be influence what you decide to do. That's what I would tell them.
And is there anything else that you'd like to mention that I maybe didn't question you about El Camino College or just yourself?
No, we're here for you, and we want you to come and join us. And we also want to hear from you about what we can do better to serve you. Because again, that is our number one priority, is to be of service to you. That goes for me and this college.
Can you just go into depth a little bit more on the resources as we are standing in front of the El Camino Library? Can you just go into depth about the learning resources or any services that students may have here?
Sure. The library is the heart of the campus. This is where students come to study sometimes just to hang out. But we also offer an extensive array of tutoring services, some specialized like for our athletes. And we offer a variety of learning resources and supports. There's a writing center if you want help writing your essays. Some of the faculty from the math department also come in and do some specialized math tutoring. We have photo exhibits from our photography classes in the lobby. Just a variety of things to keep students engaged, but also to help promote their academic success.
When it comes to promoting their success, a lot of that comes through a lot of personal connection almost. So what is that personal connection that you have with many of the students here?
I like to get out of my office and say hi to students, but also I drop into classrooms on the first day to make sure everything's going okay. I attend the athletic events, I attend the performances, anything that I can do to connect with students. And I'm hoping in my second year, once things settle down, to also start to mentor students, either through our Black Student Success Center or through some other mentoring program.
Okay, and what are some things that maybe your students wouldn't know about you if they first saw you, but given the chance to maybe talk to you, they'd probably learn?
Some of the things they might not know about me when they first saw me, like we talked about, my first career was in social work, and I actually used to work for the Department of Corrections, and I was assigned the inmates on death row. So I have actually worked with inmates on death row. I once won a beauty pageant. I was Miss Black Modesto at one point in my life, and I like Winnie the Pooh. I'm not a Disney fan, but I collect Winnie the Pooh. He's the smartest person I know.
Academically, the challenges that your students face, what is the process that it takes to making sure that they are facing more challenges, if that makes sense?
We touched on a lot of them actually, because you've asked such great questions. We've talked about the holistic supports, because we understand that when you come to us, you bring everything that's going on in your life with us. We've talked about the academic support, but most importantly, it is the culture of our campus. We want to make sure that students really feel like we support them. So you get to know your faculty. You get to know the folks walking around here on campus. With my first day here, the first person that said hello to me was a landscaper. So it's that kind of campus where people acknowledge you, they see you, and they want you to feel like you're a part of this community. And I think that's the major thing about student success here at El Camino, and why we're so successful is because we make you part of our community.
And that can probably tie into my next question, but what is like your favorite thing about being the superintendent, aside from all the work that I know you have to do, because that probably isn't the best part? What is your favorite, the most important thing that makes you really, when you wake up in the morning, it makes you excited to come to work?
That we get to change lives. On any given day, if someone can get up the strength, the courage, the energy, whatever it takes to get here, because they want something different or something better in their life, and education is a way to do that, we have the opportunity to change lives and to change the trajectory of generations. I myself am a first-generation college graduate. My mom doesn't have a high school diploma, but through community college, now I'm a college president, and my children are both in college. So in just one instant, if somebody can get themselves here and get themselves connected, we could change generations, and that gets me up every day.
And just sort of piggybacking off of that, because a lot of people don't have the resources to even make it to things like community college. So I know I sort of asked you about advice for people of color and people that look like us, but just on a more general note, for people who may not have those resources, what advice could you give to them who, if they're maybe mentally battling whether or not to get out there and really put themselves out there, what advice do you have?
Don't give up. There is always tomorrow, always. And if tomorrow's going to come, there's always an opportunity. So and there are people out there to help you. Oftentimes we get so lost and struggling with what we're struggling with, and we isolate that we forget there are folks out there to help us. And sometimes it is the person next door. Sometimes it is, somebody at our church. Sometimes it's people we don't even know. Like when I was going to college, there was this little in Oakland, a little, mini mart on the corner, and I would stop in there every day and buy my milk or whatever, and just that clerk saying hello to me in the mornings and the evenings, just knowing that it was somebody else in the world that knew that I was struggling. Yes, it makes a difference, but also I want to say we got to be that person for other people. Just smiling on the bus. You commute the same time of day with somebody, just smile and say hi to them every day, and when you don't see them, say, hey, I missed you. I mean,
day is if they're having a terrible day, it really can totally alter that. So I really appreciate your time, and thank you for speaking with us and walking through sort of El Camino and giving us a true taste of what it is. Thank you so much.